We're clearly in a different setting today. We are in our client's dream home renovation that we just did. But today I want to focus on the kitchen because I want to show you what an interior designer chooses when it comes to the finishes, the details, the hardware, and everything all in that makes this kitchen great. The first thing I want to talk about is the spatial planning when it comes to any home renovation and especially a kitchen design. This is my favorite part of the job, honestly. So in this original layout, this kitchen was literally isolated to this wall and this wall here. And there was a tiny little island in the middle that literally served no purpose. So this original space behind me, which is now the walk-in pantry, used to be a dining room. And this was super unfunctional, not only because of the way the space was laid out, because when you first walked in from the front, this was your dining room space and it was a non-existing, non-usable room in the front that was actually at a lower grade. The idea behind this walk-in pantry is we really wanted to create this workspace because the kitchen itself we wanted to be as its own showroom. Having this layout with the walk-in pantry allows all of your regular appliances that you use to be hidden in the back. You can have your air fryer, you can have your toaster, you can have your drinks, your bar. Everything is back here with all of your dry storage above. Any of your large ticket items like your pots, your colanders, your pans can all be put in the drawer systems that we put below. If you have the opportunity, I always put in a prep sink as well as an additional fridge in the pantry. This allows you to keep all of that overflow and overstock of food, fruits, vegetables, and items that are used less frequently. So your kitchen can be that showroom quality place that you can host and everything is easily accessible. So throughout, you can see that we use the same white oak finishes for all the cabinets, and the uppers will all be the same white lacquer finish. But the one key difference is not to make it too matchy-matchy. So what we did is we actually chose an alternative countertop for it here. So this is actually a marble that we carried up the backsplash. We actually book matched it from the back to give it that extra kind of like expansive and explosive look to it that, in my opinion, really helps create a beautiful design within the space. The great thing about this marble is that it picks up on a lot of the undertones and finishes. We have the caramel, we have the white, we have the yellow that give us that cohesiveness to the rest of the kitchen while still feeling like you're in a separate space. And to add the cherry on top, because this is a prep pantry, we added a soft close to this pocket door, which is so smooth because, come on, well, having that soft close is like ultra luxury in any finish, including all doors. Now I want to take you to the favorite part of the kitchen, which is this island. This was the bane of my existence when it came to the layout because we originally wanted this for like a full perimeter all the way around. The challenge with using such a large island is finding the right countertop surface, especially since we did a waterfall edge that continues down the side. You need to find something that can match up the veins so it actually continues as a true waterfall. The last thing you want is this beautiful finish coming to the edge and a different vein that lines up on the other side. The major details that we wanted in this island was for it to be a work island. We wanted to have it completely unobstructed so we can have this as a work surface. That's why you can see the hood fan and the oven is behind me, and we committed the window wall for the actual sink itself. To have this as much of a workhorse as needed, we wanted to put as much possible storage in it. So one of the first things we added in that was mandatory was a drink fridge. This was those easily accessible drinks. And what's nice about this is a dual tone system. On the right is for your wine and on the left is all for your pre-prepared drinks. So everything is ready and at hand. Instead of doing cabinets, we did all drawers on the front. This way you can utilize all of that storage all the way back to have everything that you need and you don't have to be bending down to reach everything at the back. Because we doubled this island size itself, there is going to be the seating on the other side. We wanted to give them even more overflow of storage. So what we did is we brought in an additional 12-inch cabinet on the back side. This way they can have any overflow of seasonal storage, cups, glasses, everything you could possibly need so it's out of the way. So the original standard for all kitchen design was the triangle that formulated around the fridge, the sink, and the stove. This is no longer the case. This is such an outdated look when it comes to the design. The new triangle is based around the sink, garbage recycling, and the dishwasher. You want all of these within a one-step distance for how people are actually functioning and working in a kitchen. If you are cleaning here, you can have things thrown out in the garbage right beside you, and then you can add them to the dishwasher. The new trend that I absolutely love is a galley sink. And I wouldn't even classify this as a trend because this has so many timeless capabilities because it is a work kitchen. The great thing about a galley sink is they have these additional ledges within the undermount, which you can have your strainer, your colander, an extra platform that sits on top. So everything serves a function. You don't need to go from an island to cutting and washing vegetables. You can do it literally right here. Now I can see your fingers typing in those comments being like, but Phoenix, you've talked about never putting open shelving in a kitchen. Listen, because we have a full walk-in pantry that is the size of most people's kitchens, having this ledge across the entire perimeter allows us to design around the look and feel we want in a space. Because this is a show kitchen for hosting, all of the prep is done in the pantry, which means we can style this with beautiful greenery. We can have a few plates and cups out here for it to look nice. And what's great about the same finish that's continued all the way up is that this is so easy to clean. If you are doing any perimeter shelving that is open in a kitchen, I always recommend doing one. Once you add more on top, it just is too cluttered. So as you can see, we have one smooth, continuous motion of the veining that starts here, goes up the backsplash, continues onto the shelf, and connects to the hood fan. These are those visual cues of movement that create a space to make it look not only functional, but look beautiful. We have transitioned from the 50s and 60s of the highlight of the kitchen being the appliances. We have now gone to an integrated tech where everything is hidden and built in. The clients wanted a full-size fridge. So what's nice about this, it has everything that's easily accessible and you have that full height of everything. To make it even easier, we've added freezer drawers over here. So we can have the ice maker and everything built in, as well as any additional freezer storage for the actual design. This is great because it allows you to have a clean finish front between all of the appliances and the actual cabinets itself. Another specific detail that I always look for is the specs of the fridge. If you've noticed in so many kitchen designs, a fridge will usually come out an additional 5 or 6 inches from the countertop. We spec this fridge so it aligns at the exact same width and depth as the countertop, so we have that nice flush finish and not an entire appliance that sticks out and really ruins that clean sight line from front to back. Convection ovens are the newest and hottest appliance when it comes to any kitchen. They are basically a glorified microwave, if I'm being honest, but they can do so many things. The one feature we want to include around this convection oven is an additional shelf that pulls out. So as this opens, they don't have to transport everything to the island. They have a place to set things down and put into storage because this kitchen is so large. I wanted to give them an extra surface area here to give it that extra function over form. Another feature I like to include is specific storage around your baking sheets and your cutting boards. So what we did is we created a divider system within this cabinet so everything can be stored vertically versus horizontally. Because if we're being honest, I've seen so many kitchens that you pull out one of those bottom drawers and you have baking sheets, cutting boards, everything is stacked. You literally have to pull out everything all at once to find the one item you're looking for. This makes everything easily accessible and ready to grab as you need. Another really important question I get asked all the time is, how do you connect your cabinet face color to your flooring finish? Now, a lot of people like to have that same finish that feels like it connects to it, but because this is such a large open concept space, you don't want that same level of finish color that connects from the floors to the actual cabinets. Otherwise, it just looks like one big wood finish, and then we're dangerously getting into that like 50s and 60s wood style where everything is the same. When you're looking at a cabinet finish that connects to the floor finish itself, the first consideration I want you to think of is using the same species. So this is a white oak finish for both of them, which means you're going to have very similar veining and detailing in the knots throughout. This gives that visual continuity between the floor, which is a horizontal surface, and the cabinets, which is your vertical surface. But what we did is we did a slightly darker tone in terms of the stain and finish for the cabinets compared to the floor. This allows a slight visual disconnection, so it doesn't feel like it's all the same, while still allowing that same fluid motion of the floor that connects to the cabinets. If you've been following me for a while, you know that one of my biggest pet peeves is the cabinet versus drawer debate in your kitchens. I always recommend using a drawer or a cabinet because you can utilize all that storage all the way back. But the one challenge with that is if you have such a large kitchen like this, if they are all drawer fronts, that's a lot of additional handles. So the way that I break it up is in some, I will actually use a cabinet and I will add the drawers within. This allows you to have all of that additional storage, but also it breaks up all of those additional lines of all of those drawers throughout. Another key hardware piece I like to include in all of my kitchen designs that are close to the stove is utensil storage. So I'm talking about your ladles, your flippers. Having this at hand by the stove is not only a safety concern, but it makes it easily accessible so you don't have to leave the stove when you're actually working at it. Everyone wants beautiful pendant lights over the island. The downside to these is that they literally serve a function of pure aesthetic. This is not going to give you the task lighting that you need to be working and cleaning in a kitchen. This is why I always include a cylindrical downlight, because what's great about these is this cylindrical downlight can be positioned in any which way that you need for additional tasks. Think about how a person works in a kitchen. Generally, they work in the middle. So this is why we've placed two on each side. So when someone's working, they have even light from both directions. So in this instance, we've actually highlighted the top of these shelves to give it that beautiful cascading light that when you have decor or other beautiful items on top, these are highlighted depending on how they are using the space. If you have any shelf or upper cabinets, you always get a really unflattering shadow behind that makes your kitchen feel smaller because it doesn't emphasize on the actual size of your countertop. So as you can see, there's no shadow under the shelf. The reason being is we did a recessed LED underneath on its own separate switch. So you can have this light on in the evening and everything else off to give you that beautiful ambient glow. This is one of the greatest considerations, is how a space is looked at from different times of the day and how different light affects it. Another consideration I always put into my designs, especially in kitchens, are the Bochi outlets. What's great about these is that they are flush with the backsplash and they don't scream at you compared to your regular double outlets that have the white plate around it. Hardware for your cabinets is another really important factor. So what we did is we actually did a hollowed edge pull. So it has a beautiful perimeter pull to actually allow access to it without feeling like you have to grip your fingers underneath. My partner is an absolute caffeine fiend, and I'm gonna take you over to what is probably the most exciting part of this kitchen for most clients, which is a dedicated coffee station. You have your Nespresso, you have your Keurig. Everything is easily accessible right here. And we included the hardware of the pocket doors. These are great because it allows you to actually close this off and have that seamless design, or open depending on your preference of how you're hosting. So we use the exact same countertop finish that carries up the backsplash, as well as all the additional perimeter LED lights within the bottom of these shelves. Another feature that we include in every coffee station is drawers with organizers. This allows everything to be super organized, easily accessible, whether it be your tea, your coffee, everything you need, once again, is right at hand. Kitchens have always been one of my favorite areas to design because they are not only super functional, but very intimate because they are the heart of the home. Thank you so much for following along. I know you guys probably have 100 additional questions, so please let me know in the comments below and I'll make sure that I answer all of them because there are so many specific details that you need to keep in mind when designing your kitchen. I also have so many more videos and details about this entire renovation on all of my other platforms, so make sure you follow me on Instagram and TikTok at Mr. Phoenix Gray to see everything that we did in this entire space. And remember, if you're ever second guessing yourself, just ask, what would Design Daddy do?